and it is being implemented 100% so that we could achieve our objectives. Okay, so policy is a guidelines, and it is a roles and responsibilities, and everything is being documented under policy so that it is being communicated to all the members in the organizations, and everybody in the organization, employees, managers, and even corporate people, board of directors, all the stakeholders who follows these policy guidelines, so that the strategy which has been formulated, okay, this is what I have to achieve in 2 years or 1 year, my profitability should increase, that is our goals. So to achieve that, these policy guidelines should be followed. Are you all clear what is policies? It is a guideline, and it has been communicated to all the members. Ooh. Okay, so far I think I have not shared. Now I have shared. Are you all able to see? Thank you, Sharmila. Akash. Lokesh, thank you. Okay. Companies use start policies to make sure that the employees throughout the firm make decisions and take actions that support the corporate's mission, its objectives, and strategies. Based on the policies, they take decisions, that employees and managers take decisions and actions to support the missions and objectives. So based on their decisions, it will be based on the policies given by the corporate or business unit. Okay, good. Next, strategic decision making. Strategic deals with the long run future of the entire organization and should have 3 characteristics. Okay, strategic means, no, it deals with the future. So in future, what is our goals or objectives that is to be achieved? You all know that. So the strategies should have these 3 characteristics. One is rare, another one is consequential, next one is directive. Rare, you all know, it should not be the same one. It is typically a different one, and that is rare. Strategic decision should be unusual and typically have no precedent to follow. Next one is consequential. Strategic decisions commit substantial resources and demand a great deal of commitment. Let's take an example. You say to all the members in an organization that this is my strategy that we have formulated and we are going to implement. But what you will do, you just communicated, but you have not taken any actions. That is no, in order to achieve the strategy or goals, you need resources like employees or raw materials or anything. That should be, you should have that, and the employee should have commitment. That comes under consequential. So every members in the organization should be committed to these strategies. That is second point. Next, directive. Directive means it should provide directions, and it enables your future. That is direction. So let's set precedents or rules for lesser decisions and future actions throughout the organization. It should direct all the employees to see future and take actions towards it. That these are the 3 characteristics of strategies. What are the 3 characteristics? Now reply. What are the 3 characteristics? You can unmute and talk, or you can post a comment here. Very good, Anita. Rare, consequential, and directed. Good. Next. Mintzberg mode of strategic decision making. He has given all the following points so that you know your strategic decision making is good and clear, and you could make strategic decisions well enough. According to Henry Mintzberg, the most typical approaches or modes of strategic decision making are entrepreneurial mode, adaptive mode, and planning. Or as the name itself suggests, entrepreneurial is the new business model that is coming up. That is one mode. Adaptive is like based on the environment and the situations, you just adapt your strategies. That is adaptive mode. Adaptive is like, okay, this is what the environment or the business wants, or this is what the needs and needs of the customers. So you adapt according to the needs. That is adaptive. Next, planning. No, you plan your strategic decisions. That is planning. These are the three modes of strategic decision making according to the Henry. Next, stakeholders in business unit. So I have told what is stakeholders. So in the previous class, Puviyarsan and others replied stakeholders are like, yes, very good, you remember it. Who are all related to the business are called as stakeholders, like investors, you all said that. Okay, now we are going to classify them into two stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders in a business or the individuals are groups who can affect by the strategic outcomes achieved. So they are all related to your business, right? Whatever strategies you are adopted, there will be an outcome to that strategies. So the performance of the strategies will be affected by which affects these stakeholders, and they have claims on firm's performance. The stakeholders have a claims on firm performance, like okay, the investors, like you all said, investors will invest money, they send capital to your business. So what do they expect if they provide capital to your business? Let's say they invest 1 crore into your business. What do they expect from it? Okay, I posted you a question. Profit, yes. So they expect a profit in the form of dividend or capital gain. The capital gain is your share price gets increases. So they expect either a dividend or capital appreciation. Okay, that is investor. So generally investors have a claims or expectations from the business. So stakeholders can support the effective strategic management of an organization. So generally stakeholders support the strategic management actions. Like employees has to follow the procedures or policies so that they make the strategies implemented or active, right? So stakeholders are divided into internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders are shareholders. You all know what is shareholders, right? Who are shareholders? Okay, shareholders are the owners of your company. they invest different amounts. They might be a company who is invested in your firm, or they might be a, yes, Sharmila, thank you, the owner of shares in a company. They are the owners. They might be a company who's invested 20% or 30%, or there may be a retail investors like our common people who invested small amount. They are also called as owners of the company. So the internal stakeholders are shareholders, employees, managers, and directors. These are all called as internal stakeholders who is related to your business. External stakeholders are who is external, who is related to your business, like customers, suppliers, government, bank or creditors, trade unions, and mass media. So these are all external stakeholders. So you all know the meanings of each stakeholders. I'm moving on to the next slide. Are you all clear now? Yes, thank you, Bhuviyarasan and Kanimuri. Now, stakeholders analysis. So, according to Henry, you have to perform these analysis so that you will understand what are their expectations. Okay, first you have to identify the stakeholders. Who are all my stakeholders? Next, you have to identify their expectations, interest, and concerns. Okay, this is their expectations, and this is their concern over some things or ideas. Next, you have to identify their clients. Investors means what do they expect? They expect profit. Employees means what do they expect? They expect, the salary to be raised, promotions, or I need training and development so that my skills gets improved, or the company should take much care on my health benefits or insurance. These are all the claims of each stakeholders. And government also a stakeholder. What does the government expect from a firm? Okay, now I asked you a question. What do the government expect from the firm or organization? What is their claims or expectations? Yes, you have to pay taxes. That is the revenue to government. Apart from money thoughts, what are the other things that is being expected by the government? You have to act social responsibility. So as I said, there are social objectives. You have remember social objective, national objectives. So social objectives, they press importance to social benefits. So are you all acting for the benefits of society? Are you all creating wealth to the nation? That is all the expectations of the government. Okay, so these are the claims of each stakeholders that is to be identified by the firm. Okay, next, identify the stakeholders who are the most important from the organization perspective. Okay, from organization perspective, that point of view, the firm should identify who are all my stakeholders, most important stakeholders. Maybe each firm it differs. Okay, for one firm it will be government, one firm it will be employees, one firm it will be customers, one firm it will be shareholders are my most important stakeholders. I have to fulfill the satisfaction on expectations of stakeholders. Next point is identify the strategic challenges involved in managing the stakeholder relationship. Okay, in order to have a very good relationship with stakeholders, there will be some challenges will be there. So you have to identify that so that you will minimize that challenges and have a very good relationship with all the stakeholders who is involved with your business. So we all understood the stakeholder analysis, and you all know now familiar with the word stakeholders. Good. Making better strategic decisions. So Henry has given these 7 steps for making good strategic decisions. the 7 steps. Evaluate the current performance results. For anything, even for you, to conclude with your strategies or what you have to achieve in future, definitely you will analyze your current performance. Let's say this time I have got A grade. Then only you will have an idea that in future I have to achieve S grades. Or this time I have achieved 80%. Then only you can say that next time I will achieve 90. The first step would be you're analyzing the current performance results. So the current performance of firm should be evaluated. Then you have to review corporate governance. You'll see what is corporate governance in the next slide. Next, you have to scan the external environment. So what is present in the external environment? You have internal environment and external environment. What is there in the external environment? Why are you scanning the external environment? What will you know when you scan the external environment? Somebody answer. Opportunities and threats. Okay, when you scan the external environment, you will get to know what are the threats to your company, what are which is stopping or resisting your performance. That is threat. Then you will identify what are the opportunities, what are the choices I am being available, so that I can take that and improve your performance. That is opportunities and threats. Next, analyze strategic factors. SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. You will analyze these strategic factors. Then you will evaluate alternate strategies. That is, based on the external environment and internal environment analysis and reviewing corporate governance, you will come up with these strategies, many strategies. Okay. Then you will point out, this is the strategy that I am going to follow. Fifth one. Sixth one, you will implement the selected strategies. Then seventh one is evaluate implemented strategies. So this 7 thing. So far we have 5 topics we have covered. Next class we are going to see about corporate governance and corporate social responsibility. So you all have to browse net and get to know what is corporate governance and corporate social responsibility. Last class I have given you some work, right? What is upselling and what is cross-selling? Now everyone should answer that. Yes, students. Now please use a chat box or you can unmute and talk. What is cross-selling and what is upselling? Okay, Anita has replied, cross-selling is the act of selling a different product. Adi Sivan, increasing your customer value. Both increases the customer value, but the action of these two things differ. What is that? Anita has mentioned cross-selling. Now I want people to tell what is upselling. Okay. To provide additional benefit to the customer. Upselling is a sales technique. Okay, both are sales technique, ma. Sales technique is upselling used to get a customer to spend more by buying. Okay. You're all to improve the customer value, and it is a sales technique that is being followed by the firms. Okay, I'll tell you the difference between these two terms. Cross selling is, let's say you're buying ITC products. That time you told notebook. So in order to when a customer comes to your shop to buy an ITC notebook, you are recommending the other products, like other than notebooks. You're telling that ITC noodles are available, you can get that. So that is cross-selling. Different product other than the notebook sections, you are selling the other products. That is cross-selling. Upselling is when you're going to buy a notebook, you're saying pen is available, or this you can get when you go and ask for 100 pages notebook, they are telling you, they are recommending you to buy a 200 pages notebook. That is upselling. Okay, have you all got the difference between this? In both the ways, yeah, the customer will spend more on your products. Okay, so we have come to the end of the session. Thank you all for responding.